Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. We did it! We completed 2025. This is my last video of the year. And I'm just going to be wrapping up the year talking a little bit about my goals for 2026. This year has been really good for reading. I have read so many more books than I normally do. I think as it currently stands, when I'm filming this on the 2nd of December, I've read 44 books. It's soon going to be 46 when I finish the current audiobook and book I'm on. I think by the end of the year it's going to be 50, might be 48, 49. And I spent so much time reading this year. I basically replaced watching TV and video gaming with reading, which is why I was able to basically double my reading. I also read so many big books, like I read Alchemized, I read Court of Silver Flames, I read all of Throne of Glass. I'm reading Quicksilver now. I think previously I was hardly ever reading books more than 400 pages, and so even though I haven't quite hit the 50 mark, or I've just about hit 50, if I was reading normal sized books with a more average number of pages, I would have read way more. About 12 or 13 of those read were audiobooks, so we'll allow that. That's something to note, but some of them were super long as well. Like The Better Angels of Our Nature was legit 36 hours. Maybe it was even longer than that. And like, I kind of replaced listening to music in the car with listening to audiobooks. Don't know if I want to continue with that habit. I do miss listening to music and singing and all of those kinds of things. But I just don't know when else to listen to my audiobooks if it's not when I'm driving. So I think going forwards, I'm going to strive for a little bit more balance between my audiobook and music listening in the car. And just try to have fun, most importantly, not see it kind of as a task that must be completed by a certain time. In general, going forwards, I kind of want to relax my reading a little bit and enjoy other things this year. So I'm not going to aim to read more books in 2026. I'm just going to aim for 50 again because that, to be honest, seemed like enough of a stretch, and I'm sure I'll read a lot of chunky books this year as well. I counted up all of the books on my TBR and I think I have about 30, 35. So I should be able to finish all of those and read some non fiction, some classics, and reread some old favourites as well. Because last year my goals for reading were to read a couple of classics, read a couple of books for work, reread some of my old favourites, and read non-fiction. And to be honest, I didn't really hit any of those goals because I was just so engrossed in my current fiction kind of obsession. So I'm not going to set that as a goal this year. I want to read what I want to read, okay? I'm the decider. I'm going to be a mid reader. I'm not going to aim for trends or seasons or treat reading as homework or as a task. Because frankly, it's getting a little bit out of hand. Speaking of relaxation, let's move on to my YouTube goals because I also want to relax me making videos a little bit. I feel like in the last few months, my videos have been doing a little bit better than usual, and I'm finally learning thumbnails, learning titles, moving away from videos about specific books and onto more wrap ups and general lists and recommendations and chit chats. I think overall that's been a good move for the channel and I'm going to keep up with that. But I also want to focus more on quality over quantity. At the moment, I really aim to keep up with this one video per week because it's just kind of drummed into you that YouTube is all about consistency. But I do think it's way more about quality than quantity. I know so many YouTubers that don't put out weekly videos, but when they do upload, it's a really good, strong, well made video. So I think that's what I'd like to do, but I am still in a phase of learning how to do this well. And by uploading frequently, that does help me master the skills a little bit better. So I'm still going to upload usually weekly, but I'm not going to get upset with myself if I miss a week. And I really don't want to be in a position where I'm forcing myself to sit down and film just because the house is empty for that hour or two. It's really making it feel like work, which it isn't because I'm not getting paid and I'm not that successful. This really is a hobby and it's supposed to be fun. So I want to try and have a bit more fun, not be forcing myself so much, and maybe put a bit more effort into the scripting and researching of videos and do some like essays, some deeper dives into the psychology of reading and writing because that is my background. I'm a behaviourist, I've got a degree in psychology. I want to see if I can bring that part of my expertise and my interest into what I'm doing here. Because wrap ups and reviews are all very well, but I think part of the reason why those things aren't getting views for me is because, like, who am I? Does anyone care? It's like I'm a little fish in a big pond, and I'm like one wrap up out of literally thousands every month. So I think I really need to niche down and find out what makes me different and what makes me stand out. And also just challenge myself a little bit to actually use my brain, not just come on here and rant with no structure for 20 minutes. I think that's a skill in and of itself that I'm getting better at. But I can see how, for an audience member, that might be less entertaining than someone who has put a bit more effort into what they're doing. And I completely understand that, and that's fine. If you've got any feedback for me on what you'd like to see that aren't just reviews and wrap ups, please let me know in the comments. Would really appreciate the suggestions or any tips for just how to make this content better quality for you guys. Another reason why I want to relax is because this has really detracted my time from writing. I had goals to finish my first draft this year, and like I'm just nowhere close to it. Partly it's because of being ill and moving house and moving my horse yards twice, and like this year just being very hectic. But it's also a large part to me doing this, editing videos, and uploading weekly. And it's especially because I'm so beholden to this weekly timeline of a video every Tuesday that I'm having to film, edit, upload, and I might spend a week like making videos in which I don't write at all. And then the next week I'm tired, so I don't write at all, which leaves me with like 1 or 2 weeks in the month where I might write if I have the time and the bandwidth. But of course, that time's taken up with like social life and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, it's hard because in order to do well in publishing and get your book out there and get an agent, it does really help to be able to market your book and to have an audience. It's not essential, especially if your book's good, but it is like highly desired. And to be honest, even if you have a really good audience and a really good marketing opportunity and basically guaranteed inbuilt buyers, it's still really hard to get a publishing deal. So I think doing this is still pretty worthwhile. Even if I don't like build an audience, let's say, I'm at least mastering the skills that I'm going to need to market this book if I'm like being interviewed or speaking on a panel one day in the future, if I'm ever so lucky. Doing this channel, learning to talk about books, is giving me the skills I need to talk about my book. So it's worthwhile regardless. But it kind of loses all its meaning if I don't end up finishing my book because of it. So I need to find a bit more balance between progressing the book and continuing to build these skills and build this channel and community. I also like need to put a little bit more effort into my Instagram. It's been like frozen on like 124 followers forever. And I really don't blame people because I don't think what I post is that interesting. I think what I'm going to do is start reviewing all of the books that I read on Instagram and then doing a post in real time. I think I kind of hold myself back because I choose to do a post on Tuesday about whatever video I am uploading that week. And I don't think people on Instagram really care that much. And I don't think it even really helps YouTube that much. So I might still do that when it makes sense, but also try to post a bit more and have more fun on Instagram. I do share a lot of memes though. I like to repost and share in my stories memes. So if you like bookish memes, go and follow me over there. That's like the most low effort and fun thing I can do. But I do need to put more effort into my own posts. And I might even branch into doing like some reels, some chatty reels this year. But I have to admit, the thought does fill me with a little bit of anxiety. I think I've grown comfortable speaking to a camera on here on YouTube because I feel like I'm not really being seen and it's very low pressured, it's long form, so I don't think there's such a level of scrutiny as there is in like short form content. I do worry that I'm going to like say the wrong thing in an attempt to be like engaging and not boring and then get backlash for that and then I'm like, "Oh god, no, I'm getting cancelled." Like no one wants to go viral for the wrong reasons. Yes, it can get you an audience, but it can also really destroy careers. I've seen that happen with like some recent booktop controversy, uh, which I won't go into detail on because I don't want to contribute to the dogpiling of this person. But I wouldn't lie, like watching that happen to someone, it does give me pause and it does make me a little bit anxious. And I think doing short form content like that, it does change you because you are kind of rewarded for being controversial, for being clickbaity, for kind of coming in with a hook that is sort of a bad take, but then breaking it down and explaining yourself. It sort of rewards the behavior of being like polarizing and disingenuous. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be encouraged to say things I don't mean or be inflammatory for no reason. I just want to be chill, but I guess that's not very entertaining either. So I'm at a bit of a crossroads with that. And finally, my most obvious goal for the year is to finish my manuscript in 2026. By the time this goes out, by the end of the year, I should have chapter 12 done, and I've got 18 chapters in total. It's kind of 6 per act. So I've done Act 1, I've done Act 2, I've even reviewed most of Act 1 and 2, apart from the last couple of chapters, and I've got good notes on what revisions are needed going forwards. So the first half of 2026, up until like May, my birthday time, I plan on drafting Act 3, which is going to be really difficult, but I just need to vomit draft it out. It's probably going to be a mess. It's probably going to be changed in the second half of the year, but it's been so long, I just need to get it out of my brain and onto the page. And then I'll have a bit of a summer break because when it's late until like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., it's just not the kind of vibe to like go and sit inside in your office, and it's really hard to sit outside and write because the glare on your laptop. So I find summer is really unproductive for my writing always. So I think summer I'm going to have an intentional summer break where I might put it away for 2 or 3 months and like not have it in the back of my mind that I need to be working on the book, because even though it's been an unproductive year for me, it's like it's always at the front of my mind of like, will I write today? Will I write today? I need to write today. How many words am I going to write today? Oh, I wrote 1,000 words. Oh, I wrote 500 words. Oh no, now I've not written for a week. It's really mentally exhausting. So I'm going to give myself a genuine break, maybe set a date, an end date, so that by the time I get there, I'm like raring to go. And then for the second half, or like last 3 or 4 months of the year, once the light starts to draw in at the end of the summer and we're back in the sitting in the dark office vibes, I will review the book, particularly Act 3, and start editing, doing the work, and doing the rewrites. Luckily, I bloody love editing. I love rereading my work, tearing it to shreds, making notes on all the things that need to be changed, tweaking it. I've actually done it so many times for Act 1. So I'm not worried about that. I think I'm going to have so much motivation to do that. It's the first draft of it all that is what I find really taxing. So that's that. That's my review of 2025 and all my bookish goals for 2026. Subscribe to my channel to follow along on my journey. I will be doing regular writing updates, kind of vlogging the process a bit, but when I don't post about it, it's because nothing is happening. I'll try to share some more updates on my Instagram as well. In fact, maybe my writing process is what my reels can be about, because that's not going to be controversial. That's just going to be me moaning and complaining, probably. So that'll be fine. That can be funny and relatable, I'm sure, to other writers. Follow me on Instagram to see if I end up doing that. Let me know in the comments how your 2025 went in terms of reading and writing and what your goals are for 2026. Good luck with it all. We can do this. Let's write our goddamn books. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!